There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left.
Side stories.
From your blade. That's when the cannibalism started.
Side stories.
Yes. Man,
Yep.
I like it when a holiday allows you to then take 5 days off.
Remember that Madonna song, Holiday? Holiday.
I don't know.
Remember that?
I do.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. Father dies after attempting 21 cocktail drinking challenge. This is. Did your father do this?
Oh, no, my dad didn't drink.
He didn't
No.
drink. My dad definitely would during vacations. He'd
push it to the limit.
He'd disappear somewhere.
Yeah, good.
And he'd be allowed, because my mom kind of allowed him to maybe have a drink or two. But then I also wonder,
Or 20.
now I start to understand why he was so much more fun.
Yeah,
After
honestly,
he left, because he went to go quickly drink.
Yeah.
And then he'd come back. And then sometimes he pushed me too hard towards Aladdin.
Yeah, but who cares? That's fine.
Yeah, he was kind of, now you go through all the layers of
Get on the ride.
of time, and you decide what's trauma or what's not.
No.
And then sometimes I'm like, that's, he shouldn't have pushed me towards Aladdin. But at the same time, Aladdin's right there. He's like, go tell your best friend. Go tell Aladdin you love him.
Also, I mean, really, your story of complaint doesn't hold up in group therapy.
No.
Because a lot of people had horrible situations happening with their father. And technically, your father was just drunkenly, aggressively trying to get you to have fun.
Yeah, I know. And it's the thing is, in the end, now I understand it because I have more big galoot friends.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand. My father was used to other big galoots.
Wow.
He was used to having a son, but we used to having other big goon-like men that he
Police
dare
officers.
to drink. Yeah.
Police
But
officers.
he'd dare them to drink or do something. They go yes, I think, see? And then they would just, drink the table mat shot. They would take all the extra, all of the drinks that pool on top of a bar mat. They would drink that. And he'd be like, yeah, and they'd throw up. And he'd be like, yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah. And they'd go back to being cops. And dude, see, I was just a child.
Hell of a lunch break. All right, everyone. Welcome to Side Stories. Ben hanging out with Henry.
Father dies after attempting 21 cocktail drinking challenge. He's just right in front of me.
That's interesting.
A lot for vacation.
It is. It's okay. So the dude. Now this is. Man, I can't victim blame here, but again,
You literally must victim blame.
So the guy is 53 years old, right? He did this drinking challenge. He was supposed to drink, as Henry said, 21 cocktails. Dude only got through 12 before he was found later unresponsive in his hotel room. He didn't even come freaking close to the challenge.
No.
I do wonder, this took place in Jamaica, if maybe they were kind of making fun of him and they were like, let's see if he can handle any of these. And perhaps he did overdose because of that. We just don't know.
Timothy Southern, he basically said apparently he did it's very standard. Family went to sleep in the hotel room. Now it's dad's time to be extremely irresponsible.
Be cool.
Yeah, be cool. You're right. True. But then what he did is he went to the bar and then he met up with strangers that were already doing this at the Royal Decameron Club in the Caribbean in St. Anne, Jamaica.
He didn't meet up with strangers. He randomly came across strangers.
He made them his friends at night. And they're probably like, where's your family? And he's like, let's try to die. What if we tried to die and said, I don't have to get up and go to the goddamn, I guess you'd go to the sort of the baby pool.
I'm not exactly sure
You don't want to go
happens.
to the waiting area. You're mad because you have to go to the hamburger deck on the Lido because you got to get there by noon because if not, the Swiss is gone.
I've never experienced the fantastic life that this man experienced in Jamaica. But the problem here is he went in too full already. We saw Joey Chestnut over the weekend once again win the hot dog eating competition, but it's not like he eats a bunch of burgers before. So this guy,
we don't know what he does.
Well, he's a hero. So
but do we actually know his process?
They did cover it in a documentary, and he does the thing where he drinks all the gallons of water,
and he
all the gallons of water.
And then he makes himself, he boots it up, right?
I'm not sure if he boots the water up, or sometimes you could drown that way. So I don't know.
I don't know if you can drown, but I know you can drown. What's hydrosis?
Yeah.
That's hydrosis.
But this guy, he already had a bunch of brandy and beer. And then as Henry said, he met up with these two other people, and they were like, let's do the cocktail challenge. And my goodness gracious. So I think that he really went above and beyond. And then he died, perhaps like one of his idols, Jim Morrison, given his age.
I don't know.
You got to sleep on your tummy.
I actually think at this point, 53 actually too young for Jim Morrison to be current.
Holy shit! Yeah.
It's happening like that. But he died really badly. He was on vacation. He was in a hotel room, and they said his family found him on his back. He was choking. They put him in a recovery position. He wasn't getting out of it. He just died of alcohol poisoning right in front of him. And apparently, that's also not. It doesn't seem to be covered by his insurance.
Why not?
Because it seems that if you're
allowed to die in dumb ways.
I don't know.
Fucking hate insurance. Oh my god. I
don't know.
Let's talk about insurance.
I know. The audience loves it.
This is what you pay for. You pay for this. You pay for
insurance,
the
the show.
No,
the show
this
is
is
free.
what you pay for.
This is a free show.
Well,
like you can, you've just arrived at a show. Like anybody can sit and listen, and you can hear two men sort of like angrily garble about insurance, and also just fight for the right of this man to have some alone time.
I just think, without a doubt, this is where insurance needs to come in, help this young man out.
They don't pay anything.
Middle-aged man, but nonetheless, that's exactly what you do pay for, is the insurance for you to go and be a goddamn moron with two random strangers as you finally put your family to bed, but not in the illegal way with a pillow over their faces. He allowed them to fall asleep naturally.
I actually think that he should be commended for that.
I agree.
The father that would go die at an all-you-can-drink cocktail or whatever it is, like, the 21 drink cocktail challenge. The father that would go...
The nice thing is, if you do all 21, you get a free.
She gets the 22nd for free. Like, while you're sitting in a hospital, like, getting your stomach bumping, like... Actually, if I could get the 22nd one, it'd be nice if it was a pina colada, something easy on the stomach.
Yeah, just something a little nicer. Maybe a water.
But that's the same father, for certain. In another life, if he wasn't doing well financially that quarter, he'd fucking off that whole group.
Well, we simply don't know.
Let father get drunk.
I agree. Well, it kind of goes in hand with this other story, because you never know who had the hotel room before you. So in this case, they cleaned up this man's bloated body.
Yeah.
They cleaned up the vomit probably, 40 minutes?
Oh, yeah, and you have me show up being like, excuse me, is my room ready early? Can I get in there now?
Room service, the Zabrowski clumps. Yeah, they refer to themselves as the white clumps. Yeah, they're here now. They said they'd like to get into the room as soon as possible.
WK White Clump Nation. We coming in here, man. Yeah, we're too fat for your standard store.
It is possible, which we'll talk about a Carrot Top story a little bit later.
We were the white clumps, by the way. If you did see a picture of us, we all look like a famous comedic actor playing an entire family in fat suits.
Oh, it's adorable. There was also a woman in Florida who was freaked out. She got to a hotel room, right? And she fucking freaked out. And she's like, there's a fetus in the hotel room.
Oh, yeah.
She thought there was a fetus in the hotel room.
In a bag, yeah. She thought there was a fetus in a bag.
Because, I suppose it has happened to her before.
I wonder if you get it for free if you go to the Grammys or something.
It might come in one of those grab bags. Don't the rich always get things they don't need?
That's how it is.
So a chick, she went viral on Facebook, and she was going nuts. She's like, there's a fetus in my hotel room. Well, I don't know. Stick it back in you, and let's see if we can cook it.
Yeah, man, it's par baked.
Absolutely. It turns out it's not a fetus. It's almost something that I would consider to be more uncomfortable. It's just a bag full of vomit and wine.
Yeah.
So maybe it was this man's room.
You better be careful, because I got hit by lightning. That's how Gerard Depardieu was created.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You don't want to get that anywhere near any gamma radiation.
That is true.
Because that will turn into a French actor.
Yeah, this chick, Ash White, she was in Tallahassee. And I know, can you believe it, a college town that houses the intellectual minds of Florida State University.
I was one of them eggs warmed on the cloaca of Florida State University. Also, speaking of Florida State University and Tallahassee, Murderfist is coming back for a 20th anniversary show, September 23rd, here in Los Angeles. We're going to put up some information. It's at the Dynasty Typewriter. We don't have the ticket sales yet, but yes, we're coming back.
It will be in Los Angeles.
Yes.
So check that out. This was at the Tallahassee Hilton Garden Inn. And she fucking freaked. Her name was Ash White. And she's like, I can't believe there's a fetus in my room. And only in the state of Florida would the woman jump right to fetus in a bag.
Yeah, that's so strange.
It definitely, because if you take a look at the bag, there you go. It does look like it's Pruno.
It just looks like blood. Yeah, it looks like a bunch of chunky wine. It looks like a nice. And I like a wine that has a bite.
And that's where she found it. You know,
yeah, that's fair. To be honest, What that is, an extremely responsible, drunk, sick person that threw up into a bag and kept it from going all over a room and making the night extremely difficult for the cleaning staff of that hotel. That person's
better
a
than
hero.
I've been.
That's hero of the week.
Better than I've
It's
been.
the person who threw up into that bag and hid it.
I completely agree. So it looks like a bag. It looks like, again, it does look as if maybe there's a heart in there. But jump.
It's got a chunk to it.
Just to jump right to, there's a fetus in the bag.
So scared.
She eventually, she did settle. She was upset. And she said, I want my money back. But she did settle on 30,000 reward points. So isn't that nice? It's almost like Zelda.
It's that
when you
easy.
find something, you're like, 30,000 reward points. All I had to do was find what I thought to be a fetus in a bag.
Also,
and it turns out to be just vomit and wine.
You know what's awesome too is that the hotel.
Aren't we all just vomiting and wine?
We are. The hotel gamed that woman. Because then they just gave you more hotel money that you have to spend here. So now I mean, like, but now you know she's looking for a fetus in a bag. She's like, because you find one of them, that's good as money.
Yeah,
they're gonna give me plenty of money next time I find an Olsen twin in a garbage bag here.
I just want to know what happened to her in her life where, again, she just immediately jumped to that's a fetus in a bag.
I think that she's a shattered woman.
We don't know.
Watching too much news.
We don't know. So
it does seem to hurt.
Jason Curtis did say, in response to the serious allegations, our staff immediately contacted law enforcement, and then they
looking for a fetus? It's like, honestly, there was actually a fetus heist.
And then
2 days ago.
And then he said the law enforcement did a thorough investigation.
Yeah, they looked at it. They because you know the guy. It's like what they always do in the shows. A guy came out with one of those long cocktail spoons. You know the super long cocktail spoons. Pulled up a little bit and went. Oh, yeah, that's wine and throw up. That's not a fetus. Normally a fetus has got arms.
Also,
sometimes it's got little tiny fish eyes.
You know, this is the problem with Q and everything else that's gone wrong in this country.
Well, because it feels Q. It feels Q-esque.
It went viral on all these pro-life platforms. They're like, see, they're leaving babies in bags at the Hilton Garden Inn in Tallahassee, Florida, which, now that I say it out loud, all right, maybe.
I mean,
maybe.
Have they checked the trash can? Because we don't know. But it wasn't outward in the room. As a matter of fact, they were probably more ashamed of that.
So be careful. Don't do any 21 drink challenges. Also, way too many drinks. 21 beers, you'll have a nice butt. You will be pissing all night. You don't sleep.
You don't.
But 21 cocktails, don't do it. You're 53.
Fucking just live no more drink challenges.
No challenges.
That's my thing. Because you know what's a challenge? Just being a fucking man in this world.
It really
you want to get
is.
fucking real? You want to get really intense about it? So why don't you take on that challenge and be a responsible father?
Absolutely.
Like Nick Cannon.
Also, well, you know what? As far as people who do what he does, he at least has enough money for it.
He at least knows the names of all of his baby banks.
That's good.
Like, he knows their names. Because I've heard that, but he does have to play favorites. That's going to be very complicated. Because you do have to figure out what, because he decides, in his mind, apparently, I was listening to an interview with him, where he decides day by day who he goes to whose house.
Like a reality show?
Yes, and then he has to, I think two of them, they go chunk of them that live together in one compound, and he just goes and he visits his little talking, breathing
like
cum.
coven.
Yeah, he goes, he sees his cum, he goes, he looks at him, he pats his cum on the head, and then he goes someplace else.
Okay, well,
honestly, it's incredible.
He's showing up. It's a
lot of work.
So don't do that. And again, if it's a bag and it's all red, looks like blood, most likely not a fetus, but always be aware. Do we want to do an update on Mac?
I have there's a couple of updates. Let's do a couple updates. So number one, Allison Mack of Nxivm notoriety.
The TV show that she was a star of.
Yes, you're right. I forgot. Yes, it was, what was it? The superhero.
Oh my God.
Smallville. Thank you, Rob. Thank you. And so it's like Smallville. She was a, skinny white woman, loved getting that pussy fucking branded. She was a sex ward and slave master for Keith Raniere, but she was supposed to be in jail for 18 years. She just got released on good pussy behavior.
No, she wasn't supposed to do 18 years. I think she was supposed to do 3.
Well, she got 18. She got 18, and then it was whittled down because she flipped on Keith Raniere, who got 120 years.
She took the plea deal.
She took the plea deal. Have you seen pictures of Allie Mack?
I mean, I saw her walking around.
But they're still taking pictures of her around because she'll go down Prospect Park because that's where she lives. You just see her with her big Carmen Sandiego scarf and big sunglasses being like, everyone wants to look at me. Everyone's paying attention to me. Meanwhile, we just want you to go away, lady.
Well,
you did your
to be
one
fair,
job. You flipped it. You branded a couple of other wasps. I guess that's what you wanted to do. That was your purpose in life. And now you just need to go someplace else.
To be fair, they are the ones hunting her. I'm not sure if she's put out PR promos to be like, hey, I'm going to be over here crying.
Well, she does dress like she is
Whoa.
a woman.
Whoa.
She's
Whoa.
dressing like a character of a woman that
On the
doesn't
run.
want to be paid attention to. So she just, again, it's a gigantic pashmina. Big, huge, is like face, small, swallowing sunglasses. She is very much so being like, don't pay attention to me. But I do understand she served her time.
She
and
did
now
serve
she's
her
out.
time. She did.
You want to clear your name? SideStoriesLPOTL@gmail.com. We will speak to you, Allison Mack.
Well,
Kissel's
no.
ready to talk. You can fix her.
I'm
You can do
becoming
the
a
opposite. Instead of her being like, I can fix him.
No,
you can
she's
do the
not.
opposite and be like, I can fix her.
I don't want to be honest. She's not exactly I would say, cup of tea. She's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, she's
But-
not my gallon jug of skim milk.
No.
That's what I would say.
So she did get out a little bit early because she finished the residential drug abuse program, or RDAP.
As she's
and
allowed
so there
to.
you go.
Oh, so she blamed it on drugs?
I would assume, well, that's even
She was
an
just
easier
like, I
way
was
to.
just so crazy. They make Benadryl so strong these days.
That is the easiest way to get out of drug rehab if you're never addicted to drugs, but you go to drug rehab and then you're like, I'm totally clean.
I like SideStoriesLPOTL@gmail.com. I'd love it clear up on that because I also got, because of our incredible fucking audience, I asked our audience, what the fuck's going on with Paul Bernardo? As we know, Paul Bernardo
Yeah.
was half of the Barbie and Ken killers in Toronto, Canada. He's arguably one of their most talented rappers. If you look at their rapper Snow, I think about now how
Snow,
there was
yeah.
a Canadian rapper named Snow,
No, yes,
which
Informer.
it's kind of racist.
No, it's snow
Like
because
Canadian, but the fact that your name's Snow.
yeah, because it snows all the time.
Yeah, but it'd be like having a rapper
be
who's like,
weatherist,
my
too.
name's maple syrup.
It'd be weatherist, if anything. If it rained maple syrup. No, I think that's more of just letting people know that he's from the cold land, the land of the cold.
Burr, you know I'm making cold. You
Don't
got
do
to
it.
tell me. I don't need to be told. I know how to rap.
Don't
and
do
I
it.
do it a northern way. And you
Mhm.
see me how I rap it a Canadian way. I don't know. Right?
There
That's
you
all.
go.
That's all I know.
It really wasn't the rap that got him incarcerated. It was the murder
It
and
was
all
the
the
rape and the murder, yeah. But he was downsized. He was downgraded from maximum security prison to medium security prison. And there's a lot of people that are freaking out and they don't know why. But I actually got a really interesting email as to why. Now, this came from someone who would know. I actually don't know if I'm allowed to say who they are.
The Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Yeah, me and him.
Wow, he really gets it.
We're playing
being the
words
son of
with friends, and a lot of these words you can't even tell. You can't say out loud.
No,
not
you
to,
can't.
Not
You
into a
can't
microphone.
say out loud. Not with Trudeau.
So this is interesting. Unlike in the U.S., there are only 3 types of prisons in Canada. Jails are local detention centers, like the Ottawa City Detention Center, or OCDC, where people are held until
You
trial.
can call that shit OCDC. OCDC. That's fun.
What?
OCDC.
Oh, you're just saying those
So-
letters are fun?
Yeah, it sounds like a place you go have 21 fucking drinks and die.
It does, actually. It does. Now you put it that way. It does feel like I'm in a punk club in downtown Toronto. Where
OCDC.
It's just, everything's just smoked fish. People are also held in provincial and territorial jails while awaiting trial or sentencing. If you do 2 years or less, you go to provincial territorial jails. Now, we have 3 security levels of prison: maximum, medium, and minimum. Corrections Canada, as cited in the article linked above, operates in the premise that maximum is meant to be temporary, while offenders are prepared to move to lower levels. Because Paul Bernardo was determined to be a quote-unquote dangerous offender, a specific legal status in Canada for high-risk repeated offenders, he will almost certainly never be released from prison. But it is his charter right to apply for parole every 2 years. But now twice he had been denied.
Right.
He will never be transferred to a minimum security because that would mean you have to prepare offenders to transition for release into the community, which will never happen for him.
It's not happening.
So-
Well, we should certainly hope not, given
But they
what
said
he did.
Technically, it's pretty unusual that Bernardo spent almost 30 years in maximum security before being transferred, because Canada's most famous prison, Kingston Pen, was closed in 2013, which is when he was moved to Millhaven, another maximum security prison not far from where this person grew up.
And of course, you know a Canadian prison by 2 words that are carved outside of it that just say, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you just never get to. I believe in maximum security prison, you have to say, I'm sorry to begin a sentence and then at the end each time.
Absolutely.
And he's also getting sent to a place called La Macaza, which is a medium security prison in Quebec that is specifically equipped to house sex offenders at risk of violence from other prisoners. So basically, he's kept in maximum security in solitary confinement because he has to be, because so many people are trying to kill him.
Right.
And now he's basically going from one place of solitary confinement to another place of solitary confinement with one layer less of walls.
Well, you know, it's a little different out here.
It's just a little different.
This is just a little different.
And
of course, you're going to want to check out the deleted scenes in the new Barbie movie. She does when her and Ken,
it is the incest.
Ryan Gosling.
I couldn't believe, because we always get screeners here, and when
we do, because we're on the list. We're in the Dumpster Academy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And watching Barbie go down on her sister was just like controversial, brave work, Margot Robbie. And I hope she continues to make Barbie 2 where everybody's got no pants.
Oh, look at that. Just another
pussies,
little plastic
because they don't have any pussies.
Baby.
That's the thing. What's nice about her going down on even her sister, it's incest, but she doesn't have any vagina. So it's just plastic against plastic, just slapping against each other.
If you want to listen to that, go listen to the Ken and Barbie series. I believe there was 2 episodes.
We did 3 episodes.
3 episodes, yeah, because we really had a lot to get to. Well, I want to talk about this, though.
Oh, because I do want to get into some more mud talk.
You want to do an update on mud?
You continue. You go.
Rise from your grave.
You know who wouldn't get drowned in mud?
Who?
Carrot Top. Got big old hair. This story I actually find to be real fucking freaky.
I think hair actually would help you drown.
You wouldn't know, though. So you wouldn't know.
I have body hair.
Oh, that's true.
I feel like my body hair would suck me down.
We'll get to mud talk. But have you ever been on an airplane?
Have I ever been on an airplane?
Have you been on an airplane?
Are you?
No.
Hey, tell me. I've never been on an airplane.
You ever been on a plane, but where there was a person that you didn't believe was actually a person on it? There's this chick, and she was on this flight.
I hope not.
And she fucking freaked out, right? There was this woman, and she freaked out saying that this person on this plane is not a real person. And it went viral. It's a 41-second
Can you
clip.
send Rob?
Do you want to play it?
Can you send
do you
it?
want to play the sound?
Just so that people can hear. This is one, of course, because I just bought a plane ticket because I'm going to Atlanta this weekend to do shows at Dad's Garage. Can't wait to do it. But Natalie's like, look at this super scary video on a plane.
It's fucking scary.
I'm like, great. Oh, this is great. It always gets me right in the headspace I need to be in.
That's why I'm doing San Diego. Oh my God, we're going our separate ways.
We're going our separate ways.
Don't want to do it.
We're going to be back together. We have to separate to be stronger enough to come back together.
I'll be at Mic Drop Comedy Club, and every time I have a great joke, I'm going to slam that mic to the ground.
But guess what? They're really going to end up getting mad at you because the mics end up costing money.
I know, and actually,
every time I think it's cool, and I always do, because then I've done that. I've done a mic drop and go like, wow, that's a cool feeling. And then you find out everyone's all mad
at you because, Chris Rock, he pays for those mics.
He does.
So speaking of comedians, this woman, do we have the sound? Do you have it, Rob? Okay, Rob, you want to play the sound of this woman?
I don't
and
want
there is
I'm
some
just
ominous
scared. I'm
music
already scared of this.
underneath it, which...
But the music is added to make it more scary, and it doesn't help the situation.
No, it makes it more scary. So let's play this woman just freaking the fuck out on a flight.
I just hate this. This stuff's... Because you know what? Again, I'll deal with anything. I'd actually rather deal with a terrorist than somebody going completely insane in the middle of a
tackle them.
Well, these are terrorists. I can be like, I'm on your side.
You're on their side.
And you flip with them, then you get inside the group, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, this guy's incredible. And then all of a sudden I flip from the inside out.
You're going to have a hard time explaining that to the judge and jury.
No. But I flipped them.
I flipped them. All right, let's play this clip of this woman screaming.
Can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two f***s, but I am telling you right now, that back there is not real.
Yeah, I'm not dealing with it. That's what I was saying. I feel like a criminal, somebody I can reason with. When someone's saying, like, pointing at a steward, the back of the flight, saying that person is not real. I mean, well, like, you see the guy going like, I'm real.
Well, we
and
simply don't know.
We just wonder or not, maybe he starts to being like, maybe I should be keeping it more real. Maybe that's my problems. Maybe what she's saying is right. And all of a sudden he gets caught in his head and he starts thinking about how he's just like, yeah, maybe I'm doing all these people's bidding. And next thing you know, he starts doing like anal paintings.
Well,
where it's
like, there's nothing more real than that.
But he had a career before, and then all it took was one comment to just shatter his whole like track. He was like ready to go, and then all of a sudden now he's doing like butthole kisses with tempura paint
Well, I mean, Carrot Top can do whatever he wants to do if he thinks it's funny.
So the thing is that Carrot Top was watching all this go down.
He watched all of this go down.
And
the
he
flight
did
was
nothing
delayed.
to stop this woman.
Well, you can't do anything, especially when you're Carrot Top. So the flight was delayed 3.5 hours, and the passengers were all forced to depart and then reboard the aircraft after this woman lost her earbud and went absolutely batshit insane.
Oh, the woman lost her earbud. So that's the
right.
real key.
And so she says, I'm not getting off the fucking plane. I'm not going to do this shit. There's no reason why I'd be getting off the plane. Everyone here can either believe it or not believe it, but that person is not real. Now, I have been on a flight with people, and I have spoken to an airline waiter,
attendant.
and she said that she has seen non-humanoid figures on planes.
And then you're like,
and you know what?
Oh, God, you're in charge of the safety.
You have to think, don't aliens need to fly too? Don't non-humanoids need to get back for their Clorklack Thanksgiving?
Well, if
you don't know what the vacation time is. We need alien calendars. What if this is the holiest high holiday
for
the aliens and we don't know it?
You just don't even understand. You just kind of step into a maelstrom there, because if it is true, indeed, what David Grush is talking about, that there is a secret program within the federal institutions, right? Like, let's say within the Pentagon, there's some kind of secret UFO retrieval system. Technically, that whole secret history of America might then indeed be real. And so we've had a number of CIA guys, certainly not just horny on their deathbeds, trying to say that they believe that aliens walk amongst us. And so you might not be incorrect, and that this woman, clearly distraught after losing an AirPod.
She's drunk.
I've lost 3 of them. I've lost 3 sets of AirPods.
I need
the last
things
year and a half.
We need to stop, there's no cords. I want a cord that goes into my arm, and I want to hit a button that retracts it back into my arm.
Yes.
So I never lose the fucking thing.
Sleeve it through my jacket like we used to have to do with our gloves in elementary school.
Non-humanoid entity. This woman's pointing it out.
This dress is allowing her to see through the veil.
What comedian, what performer would the CIA like better? None other than Carrot Top to be the person who actually sees a non-humanoid entity on a plane, because people, you know what? They're wrong. They might demean Carrot Top.
I do believe that Carrot Top was used as a punchline in Men in Black as an alien.
So there you go.
And so
hiding in plain sight.
But I feel like in many ways,
literally,
Carrot Top is so human.
Oh my God.
What?
Plain sight. Hiding in a plane.
It means nothing.
Plane, PLNE.
I know.
Hiding in plain sight.
It means nothing.
Wow.
Nothing.
And then Carrot Top. Now he's the tip of the fucking spear.
I don't think he
is.
What
if Carrot Top sees a UFO before you?
I think he's the top of the bushel of the carrots. I think that he is unfortunately very human. And I think that in the end, he's more alien in his perspective of the world. He's very funny. But I think that separates him apart. I think, as a matter of fact, he's all too human.
If he becomes the true, non-ironic expert on all extraterrestrial activity.
Because someone's got to take that.
Someone's got to take it.
Someone has to take that burden.
And who would, oh my God, the comedian that the aliens would like to be entertained with the most when they come here? Carrot Top. Because they're not going to get Chappelle's new material.
Physicality is the international comedy. And doing fun bits, because it's like, I remember when Murder Fist went through the Just for Laughs situation.
And don't frown.
This was in Canada, right? So we were doing it in Montreal. So they do this big old comedy festival called Just for Laughs, and Murder Fist.
Oh, everybody knows they own Canada.
Yes, we crushed it, right? We were supposed to go, and in the very end, they didn't want us to do Just for Laughs because they said, this is an international festival. Your comedy is just it's just too verbal.
It involves so much blood that's the most universal thing there is.
French, like a guy who trips, pants falls off, lands inside of a child. That's what France likes for comedy. They want a guy that goes he goes he slips in a bunch of bananas. He reveals that he has tits and a dick, and they're like, what? And they're like, and that's it. And then he falls into a bunch of soup, and then the president's got a wig on. Yeah. That's what France likes.
Honestly, that's a fantastic sketch. Apparently, they also really like their 4-day work week and all their healthcare, because they're burning their city down.
That's where they've got that nailed.
They're burning their whole country down.
They got it you get that on the money.
If you do see Carrot Top, ask him, was this woman just absolutely blackout drunk? Or was it possible that that was indeed not a human at all?
I don't know. But you know what, again, it does seem to really muck up a human's life when it's not fucking aliens?
What?
It's goddamn mud.
Mud is it was so much scarier than I thought it was.
This whole thing, I did not know that
Mud doesn't fuck around.
Mud is fucking scary as hell. I've had many people send messages talking about mud.
You ever
the
lost
scariness of mud.
You ever lost a shoe in mud and realize just the power, even below the ankle, the power of mud?
No, I stay in cities.
Well, there's some mud out here. I mean, also that slime.
But I'm just, again, nothing affirms my status as a city mouse, as all of this shit is being so fucking evil. Mud's evil. There's a story from fucking, I guess, Massachusetts.
The mud times.
All right, woman missing for a week, found alive, stuck in mud.
Wow.
According to police, 31-year-old Emma Tatuski. Honestly, you got to lift shows. Really, you got to lift those knees when you're jogging.
You really do. Come on, Tatuski.
You got to get your knees up. She was located alive in Borderland State Park in Easton. She was found stuck in the mud by hikers who heard her screaming for help in a swamp-like area. Officials said that the hikers could not get Tatuski out of the mud, so they called Easton police for help. When they arrived, they said they had to wade 50 feet into a swamp-like area through thick brush and found Tatuski. She said she was there for 3 days and could not get out. They needed ATVs for the rescue mission. She didn't have serious injuries, but then she was just stuck in the mud. I don't know. I'm just going to say, I don't know how she fucking got there.
Well, I guess you walk to the mud.
I just feel like on some level, again,
go to the mud.
I want
her mind.
But Julian Sands, famous character actor, was also, his remains were just found. He was 65 years old.
In the mud?
And off to the side, he had a hiking accident. He fell in the dirt, and Julian Sands was just in an interview talking about how dangerous all this shit is. I don't really understand why people think that we've just spent 2 years in a quarantine. If you haven't been hiking not the last year, but you got to get your muscles back up.
You do.
You can't just jump straight into, I'm going to go to the swamps of sadness, heard a horse drown here, I can make it through. No, I'm sorry, Miss Tatuski, I believe in you, but I think that the mud, if it can sneak up on you, that's scary as fuck.
Well, mud is indeed thicker than water. So when it comes to mud, we've heard the term, don't be a stick in the mud. So I think people back in the day, you should just constantly die like birthday candles on a birthday cake, just being stuck in the mud.
And then you just got to,
mostly you just let them die slowly. Maybe you throw a ham sandwich their way every now and again, but to be honest with you, you probably just shoot them.
But you're good. Oh, you have to.
Because what else are you going to do?
You're stuck in the mud.
You're literally stuck in the mud. But I watched this thing from 1890, which isn't that long ago, because we're like, well, what timeline are we in? Yes, I would prefer if it was pre-2007. I would go from 2002 to 2007 before the iPhone.
You were watching thing from 1890?
Reddit. And there was this man.
But what do you mean? Did you go through a time
I read
binocular? Or?
No, I read the article.
Oh, you read an article.
Yeah. But times used to be very difficult. And so you know what used to happen when you get glee-glogs, when you get the rocks in your dick?
What?
When you get the rocks in your dick.
What do you mean?
When you have a thing that you have to piss out that's the size of a rock.
Kidney stones.
They used to just take a fucking pole, shove it down your goddamn cock, and just break it inside of your intestine.
Things were worse.
So people used to just, I guess what I'm saying is it's almost nice that mud is forever. Because isn't this something we could have in common with the person from 1600? Be like, hope you didn't get stuck in the mud out there, larg. And then they'd be like, no, I did not.
Well, we'll never talk to these people. It doesn't matter.
No, but if we did, and then wouldn't that be nice that that's one common thread?
I'd probably say,
fuck the mud.
America won World War II. And they go like, yay. And then it's like, wait till we tell you how. And he goes, oh, no.
Don't get stuck in the mud.
Don't get stuck in the mud. But I actually part of it is that because we talked about the mud flats. We're talking about a person that was stuck in the mud flats and how apparently they're hyper dangerous. But there was a lot of people that, in Alaska, these are the Alaskan mud flats. They're just apparently just whole areas were just hyper dangerous. So at first I was like, this can't be that dangerous. And I looked deeper into it because there was a urban myth that a woman was stuck in the mud in the Alaskan mud flats, and that the main sort of advisory tale is that this woman was stuck up to her waist in the mud, and when a helicopter went to go lift her out of it with the rope, she was ripped in half.
Oh, that's an urban myth.
But that was an urban myth.
Okay.
But it's based off a real story.
So then it's not an urban myth.
But it's just...
If it fucking happened...
No. Her getting ripped in half didn't happen.
Oh.
So the true story is a Deanna Dixon, who's a new resident in Anchorage, got stuck in the flats. Her husband tried to free her from the suction-tight mud for hours, unknowingly wasting precious moments. And by the time he ran to land and got authorities, the ride was already on its way in. She was already getting sucked deeper in the mud.
Yeah.
In a last-ditch effort, local authorities gave her a rubber hose to breathe in, right, as they were trying to dig out the wood. So she held a rubber hose in her hand, was sucking out of it, and they didn't know that she was fucking dead until they watched the hose just rise up from the mud. And now they knew that woman was sucked in, and they had to wait till the fucking low tide go back out before they could get her body. Man, mud is fucked up. And we got to leave it alone. You know what?
I don't
Honestly,
like it.
We got to dry it up.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
We gotta dry up this. I feel like we gotta...
Isn't mud just wet sand?
We gotta come for this mud, dude. This mud is coming for... And guess what, Kissel?
I believe it.
Not to be anything.
I don't like it.
And I'm really concerned for you because you're
I'm
like...
taller. I'll be alive. I'll watch you die.
No, dude. I think the problem is that because you got like mostly numb feet,
yeah,
you're so in danger of this mud just creeping up on you.
I still see the mud.
You don't know, dude. I've seen you. I remember when you wandered, when you had to go shit in the Aegean Sea. I remember when you climbed down the cliff. When we went to that beach club for Cena's wedding in Italy, and then you climbed into the ocean to shit. But the thing is that could have happened to you then.
No, I got stuck on a bunch of hard rocks.
That time. That was a mountain issue.
Cut me up.
But the next issue that you have, Kissel, I can definitely see you going out. Like, because remember we talked about the smiley face murders and how it seems super suspicious, all of these young drunk men falling in the river.
Possible serial killer, yeah.
I could see it happening to you and doing it to yourself and creating your own type of mystery, because I could definitely see you drunk, leaving one of these one-man towns like you were just in, that Dan town, the guy who owns that entire town that you just became the star of that weekend.
Yeah, I really wanted to stud me.
I could definitely see you walking innocently out onto a field and then just getting sucked up doing a BL piss.
I almost did that with the ocean in Florida, but that was mostly ocean. I would have been gone forever. But then you could be one of the bog people that we got to see at the museum in the UK in London, and then I'll live forever, and it'll just be me like, thumbs up, and they'd be like, look at this primitive man.
I want
2023.
See, I don't want you to live that way. I want you to live forever in the Podcasting Hall of Fame.
Oh, what a Hall of Fame that'll be.
Nah, everyone's going to do, those hallowed halls as we walk through and, look, it's like, it's the guy who invented the fart mic. Like, there's this other guy the first guy who did a commercial after talking about a rape.
He might have invented the fart mic, but you know who perfected it? Leslie Nielsen.
You really did.
Rise from your grave.
So, Henry, this is a quick story, literally. A man opened up a store selling heroin and cocaine.
We covered this, and we knew that it was a political stunt.
Yeah, he died of an overdose. He died of an overdose. So Jerry Martin, he opened up the store in Vancouver.
It was supposed to talk about how drugs should be regulated and legalized.
Yeah, he died of an overdose.
Yeah, see, that's
he did die of an overdose.
It's not good.
So that's that story.
He's not the hero that they needed.
No.
I guess you needed a hero that I guess could really take his fentanyl. But I don't think we should. I feel like anybody, if I find that out,
think you can.
If that's the first quality I hear about you when I meet, being like, this is Bradley, he can really take his fentanyl. Then I'm still being like, well, should you be running a store? Because I feel like on some level, like, yeah, cool. I don't really care if you do fentanyl, but if you do it enough where you're like, oh, I got this. After every single time, like, like if you're purposely buying fentanyl, it's just going to hard to be like, how are you going to run the Quicken? Well, I don't know if you're going to be able to do the books.
We just don't know. And Quicken, I don't even know if anyone still uses that. Jerry Martin, apparently.
They sell it.
People didn't realize that how close he was, because he was doing drugs, but then he had stopped, and apparently he had a bit of an overdose, a bit of a relapse, they said.
I feel like maybe he was just distraught by the fact that his store got closed.
Maybe it's not doesn't help the branding.
No,
what?
It doesn't.
Dave and Buster from Dave and Buster, he committed suicide, so that probably doesn't help them either.
It's sad. It's really sad, the idea of somebody named Buster committing suicide.
I just feel like for this guy,
because you should just be fun. You're the Lord of Fun. You're the king of arcade games. It is sort of like what happened with Robin Williams, where you're like, wow, we'll just like never have that internal happiness, will we?
Yep. So the headlines from Vice News, one of their last headlines, I believe they're going out of business still.
Hey, man, it
the
takes
man-
a long... What I've learned about business, apparently it takes a really long time to go out of business.
Yeah, the man who opened a store selling heroin and cocaine has died from an overdose.
Hey, man, he died doing what he loved.
Truly, you can't.
That guy did.
Man, I also obviously be careful with any of these drugs, but they're cutting fentanyl. I read this article.
They're cutting fentanyl with something worse?
Trank. And this
I
woman's
remember
skin
Trank.
started falling off,
It's
and they
all
showed
like
all these
crocodile.
pictures. Yeah, dude. And now she's clean and sober, but she was 85 pounds, and she showed all these pictures of her body, and it was all falling off. And I just couldn't stop thinking about the sloughing.
Yeah, dude. Just
from
smoke
the
weed.
Manhattan Project.
If you're going to do anything, smoke weed, fucking have some champagne, dog. Champagne to fucking relax you, dude.
21 joint challenge. You will be sleeping before you can even imagine.
21 joints. Yeah, I mean, because by 5, it all kind of does the same.
Yeah, you just kind of neutralize.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even that, just moderation.
Just
take it from us. Except for when it comes to nuts.
Absolute icons of moderation.
I mixed nuts. I am going crazy for those.
Well, I think it's time for a hero of the week.
Oh, is it already?
Wow, this is fantastic. The idea that we got to Kissel's casual mixed nut version, because next week I have a longer story that I want to talk about Avi Loeb, talking about he was a guy from Harvard that is taking the alien situation very seriously. He took Mau Mau very seriously. He was the first one to write a paper saying that he believed that was an object visiting us, doing something, that it was some kind of purposely made thing that accelerated its way out of the solar system. But he's saying that he found what he believes to be chunks of a UFO, some kind of alien craft on the bottom of the ocean, that it's this type of basically what he called spherules of molten steel titanium alloy that humans don't just put together like that.
Okay.
That's what he's working on right now. But it is interesting. He said that it's easier to find secrets about UAP on the floor of the ocean than within the U.S. government.
I completely believe that. And just quick, I don't even have, this might be an honorable mention. This woman milked 30 pigs for their semen, but then it left her with crippling injuries on both of her wrists. And now she can't work. And they're not giving her any work compensation.
She's got to start doing it with your mouth.
Yeah, it was her job. It was her job to milk the pigs.
It's time to switch the feet.
But for those wondering, be like, oh, what about pig's milk? No, it was semen she was getting out of them.
You really got to tug hard to get milk out of a pig.
Yeah.
So imagine, making them come can't be that hard, because you really just got to give them a sandwich, roll them on its side, and just give it can't there be a hook apparatus you can use? There's got to be some kind of prosthetic. Maybe there's a little pig fleshlight you could use where you just go, and you suck. You use that thing, you grip it. You can even use your knees. You can grip it with your knees, and give a pig something to look at.
Right. She's a normal, cute-looking gal. She said she had the job of her life working at an animal welfare farm, and she was desperately trying to jerk off all these pigs.
She's the job of her life.
She's locked it.
Steep. Yeah, God, if that's what she needs. If that's what she got up every day dreaming as a little girl, thinking this is what I want to do, I want to jerk off these pigs, then wow. It just shows you that anything can happen. That's a James Brown story right there.
It is.
She's dancing that's the equivalent of dancing on bare feet on a wooden plank and becoming the hardest working man in show business.
Isn't that fantastic? Yeah. She worked it for 10 years. She says, I enjoyed working at the farm. The actual semen collection stuff isn't all that exciting. So I don't think she didn't mind.
Because you know how it's going to end.
Yeah. She says the wrist injury was caused by having to hold the penis still as the pigs move around quite a bit. So if you wanted to know
so
that.
What is she asking for?
Just a little bit of love.
PT?
Yeah.
Is that what she wants? She doesn't want, I guess she wants somebody to come in and help fill her hours?
I guess so. She is, she said, well, it's quite funny because I ruined my hands wanking pigs. And that is hilarious no matter what you speak about, but this is absolutely ridiculous. She needs help.
I do think that she might need, those squeezy things you do? Those hand squeezy things?
Get one of those.
Because that would really help. I would suggest that to her. I'd also say, stop jerking off pigs for a month. Give it a shot.
But she did do it for the greater good.
There's nothing else she can do at the farm. That's it.
I feel
is this nepotism in action?
I think that she didn't hate it enough for them to stop asking her to do it.
Is there not somebody else? Yeah, because I feel like at some point, sidestoriesLPOTL@gmail.com. Do you jerk off pigs for a living? Do you ask for a break? Do you have to sit there and literally be like, hey, Brad, honestly, thank you for the opportunity, but I'd love to move on to other things. I don't know if there's as much room for opportunity for growth within the just me jerking this pig off all day section of the farm.
Yeah.
I'd love to figure out how can I upgrade to drinkable milk? Can I upgrade to eggs? I go and get some of the eggs. I spread their pussies so the eggs can come out faster.
Well, it does.
Because I don't know if they do that with chickens. Is there somebody down there spreading their pussies like they're like doing a shot? Like you're not allowed to have long fingernails?
Well, I would certainly assume long fingernails, much like pornography, are not the best. She says now it takes her all day to chop up her vegetables and raw chicken because she has to eat. She's got to eat.
Yeah. What's wrong with your hands, dear?
All right.
I've got a bit of the wankitis. What do you call carpal tunnel? Technically, that's portal tunnel syndrome.
Yeah, cockle tunnel, something like that. Anyway, I do have an actual hero here.
Yes, but she is a hero because these pigs need to come, because if not, they go off.
I guess so.
Yeah, you really don't want any of these pig incels.
No, also there was a pig versus bear. There's actually quite a bit of pig news.
There was a lot of pig news.
And I know I had a hero in here somewhere. It was a man who rescued a woman she drove her fucking car into the goddamn
Is that the moron?
pool.
That's a story of the moron of the woman that followed her ways directly into the ocean?
No, not that one, although that is adorable. No, here we go. All right, hero of the week. This July 4th weekend in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, there was an apartment complex swimming pool that some dumb motherfucker drove their car into.
That is just...
And then that was bad. So then TJ Yarborough saw it. He lives at the complex. He jumped into the water and saw that the woman was panicked and could not exit the vehicle.
This is just bro dudes making jobs for other bro dudes.
He's a cool guy. And then he says, there was water coming up and I couldn't get to the door. So then they had to get her out of the car. So I guess they did something to get her out of the car.
This is great. And again, what a worthy moniker
the electric
of
still
hero
works.
of the week. The man that just drunkenly saw another man drunkenly in the pool.
No, this
and
is
then
a
he would be
woman.
like, bruh, you need fucking tag, bruh? And he's just like, bruh, I actually went to the pig farm this morning, bruh. So I didn't get that fucking tug going on yet, bruh. It's like, nah, bruh, your fucking car, bruh. It's in the fucking pool, dude.
Now that I really read this article, I don't know.
No one is a hero.
No, TJ is. TJ Yarborough.
No, he's
but
just
also,
a guy. Who's he saving? The management?
The woman
the
that
management
was
doesn't.
dumb enough to drive her car into a pool.
Well, can't she drown in a car in the pool?
Yes. That's the whole thing. That's
I
why
don't
you
know,
had to save
man.
her. But also, the interesting thing is, even though the car was fully submerged, the electric window still rolled down. So he just told her to roll down the window, and then she just came out of the window.
That's not even okay. So he just executive produced this.
Well, look at her
hero
car
stand.
there.
He literally was like, "Oh yeah,
She
you
had to
see
roll
what you're
down the
gonna want to
window.
do there? She's gonna want to roll the window down. Yeah, you notice that? Oh yeah, you know how you're submerging in water? Yeah, you're gonna want to roll that window down. You get out of there. Yeah. Keep lowering the window down. You're going to want to get enough for you to squirrel your body out. Yeah.
Yeah, the driver crashed through a fence next to the complex's parking lot, and then the car, they said it belly flopped into the pool.
Oh my God, this is belly flopped like
But-
it's fucking it's at a July 4th party. Like it's so dumb. Stupid
anyway,
fucking AI writing articles.
I was expecting maybe he broke the window, but they just rolled. I didn't know they worked underwater though, the electric windows. So isn't that something?
I think they do and they don't. I feel like there are a lot of times they won't, but
I mean,
who knows? Who knows? Side stories, lpotl@gmail.com. How fucked are we in driving caskets we call cars?
I think she may have been drunk.
Oh, now here's yes. Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Now here's a really disgusting story.
Oh.
I was working at a general hospital as a brand new PTA. My patient, around 95 years old, who couldn't stand up anymore, and we were working on transferring into a wheelchair.
Okay.
This patient was frail, and her skin was paper white, almost translucent. My grip was slipping on the gait belt I had around her waist as she was falling back into the chair.
Uh-oh.
I gripped her forearm by the elbow. She let out a little yelp, and when she did, I noticed there was a cut. There was like a form, like bleeding, welling up at his hands. And as I leaned forward, I saw that it wasn't just some kind of cut, but her frail, loose skin had separated from her arm in a jagged cut completely around the circumference of her forearm that basically went down to her hand, exposing several inches of raw meat.
Oh, meat. That's what to put it.
Couldn't stop, but I started to panic, and after covering several towels in blood, the patient screaming, a group of patients rushed in to take her over, and it was probably the only time in my career since then that I ever did meet someone whose skin that was that fragile. So
yep. Oh man,
that was just basically because of Hiroshima, the last Hiroshima episode, to keep you in the headspace.
Oh man, I know. Being old, your paper thin skin.
I just
you can get it. You literally can get it snagged on things and just walk, and then it just like unravels.
That's all I got. I was like, honestly, I was talking about this with Natalie last night about like the exoskeleton parking. Is going to be so key. Because I do think that exoskeletons are the key to like how, because our brains and our bodies, our goopy bodies are going to live to like 120, 130.
Yeah, but wouldn't like with Darth Vader when he finally took off the mask and it was revealed that he's just a white dude?
Yeah.
But you know how his face kind of went with him?
Yes.
With the exoskeleton, you have to like, it's going to merge to your body.
Depends on how you use it. I hope to use mine in a basket form. That I was sitting in a little basket in the center of it like Krang, and then the body around it will operate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, but then you have your exoskeleton parking, which I think is going to be true super crush.
Well, why would you have to park the exoskeleton? Wouldn't you need it throughout the day?
What I hope is that long after I'm dead, people are going to have to figure out how to disarm my exoskeleton. As it's on a constant security sweep mode.
That's
right.
Good.
So now it's patrolling the outside of my home.
But just your dead body attached
to the inside of it. No one can get me out of it. Right. And then everyone's going to try to go and it's being like, tamper detection. And then like shoot whoever gets or electrocute them.
Oh, electrocution. That's great. Very Batman.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Very cool.
Man, I'm in a fun weekend of shows. You're going to have a fun weekend of shows.
Mic Drop Comedy Club.
It's going to be good. We're going to San Diego Comic-Con. Yes. I don't know when or where.
I'm actually going to fucking miss that one.
But yeah, you're going to be in Vegas.
I'm going to be, okay, I can't complain.
Yeah, you're doing a show in Vegas.
I'm doing a Las Vegas show. July 29th.
It's going to be fucking awesome.
Every Sunday in July, I'm on the road somewhere. So come and see me, please, God.
We're all booked up. I'm very excited.
We got Atlanta for Henry.
And to live every day knowing for a fact that barbecue's coming. And I know that is a song in my heart that we'll sing. And I laugh thinking about it. I know I'm going to go to Atlanta. I'm probably going to go to either Daddy D's. I don't know if Daddy D's is even as good as it was, but I do remember I might go to Fox Brothers because I'm there.
Dude, I saw them on Triple G.
Of course. I mean,
Triple D.
Fox Brothers is very famous.
And
I know
they're twins.
There's some new gen barbecue in the mix now, and I don't mind getting into it. I'll do a little deep. There's a sweet Auburn I've heard is good. If there is honestly any Atlanta food wrecks, let me know. As always, I always want to hit it up. And I am just gonna love
your barbecue.
The fact that it's gonna set back all these healthy things I'm trying to do for myself.
But that's why you do the healthy things.
That's the whole point.
Yes.
I'm in a constant game of I live super healthy for about 4 days.
Right.
And then I live like an absolute fucking animal for the other 3.
That's perfect.
And it seemed to it is taking its toll.
Yes. Well, I think
because it seems that I'm going overboard in I lived healthy for 4 days. I could do whatever I want within these 3 days.
I feel like that's the only issue with my dry Jans. I feel like in the other 11 months, I'm like, well, I took that 1 month off.
That's the problem.
But that's not good.
No, because then I guess you're not supposed to do tit for tat.
No, you're not.
But then how else do I live? What else do I do if there is no reward at the end of a punishment? Because I view all this because I'm in toil. Living healthy, I hate every second of it.
Well, it's just the thoughts come in, and I actually had a dream that involved, not even a joke, Hamburger Highway. Just a bunch of hamburgers on the side of a highway. I don't even know what that meant. I don't know what it meant. Everyone.
That's such a that's like a Lenny of Mice and Men.
Well,
dream.
All right.
Wouldn't it be kind of amazing if the whole highway?
Well, Lenny technically was very intuitive. Okay, everyone. Thanks for listening. Hail yourselves.
Hail Satan.
Congratulations, everybody.
Hail me if you got a chance.
If you got a chance.
If you got a spare, hail.
See you all this weekend.
Yeah, I'll see you at your fucking weekend.
Bah.
This show is made possible by listeners like you. Thanks to our ad sponsors, you can support our shows by supporting them. For more shows like the one you just listened to, go to lastpodcastnetwork.com.